Welcome! This is the first of a two-part series on consignment tracking in PartsWatch. This video addresses understanding and adding consignments, and the next one walks through editing, closing, and reporting consignments. So, basically, a consignment is a group of parts that are loaned to a customer by the store. The store still owns the inventory, but the parts are removed from stock without impacting part sales histories. During the time of the consignment, replenishment parts needed by the consignment customer are treated as normal sales and returns at point of sale and affect both the store's quantity on hand and part sales histories. And if the consignment changes, it can be edited, and should it end, all consigned parts are returned to stock without impacting part sales histories. If all the parts aren't returned, then an invoice is automatically created to bill the customer for those parts. Okay, so now let's start a consignment. From the menu, Customer, Consignment Setup. The Consignment Setup screen has 3 tabs and opens to the Consignment List tab, where you'll add new consignments or open existing ones to edit or close. So click the Add button and enter the customer, and allow consignments flag on the main account entry screen identifies consignment accounts. However, all accounts are available from the customer lookup field on the Add Consignments window. If an account is selected and the flag isn't checked, the system will ask if you want to use the account, so you don't have to leave Setup in order to enable the customer. Each account can have only 1 consignment per store, but if the customer has other shops that will also have consignments, the same account may display multiple times in the screen grid with different ship-to names. And once the account has been added, the Consignment Setup tab opens to consign the parts. The upper fields are for information only. The status is draft as long as the quantity available from the part table hasn't been adjusted yet, and then changes to open after the consigned quantities have been removed from stock, and changes to closed after the consignment is closed and parts are returned to stock. When first added, the start date is blank until the consignment is opened, and the end date is blank until the consignment is closed. The last update field shows the date the account is added and is updated each time the consignment is edited. So all that's left for us to do is add the inventory. To manually add parts, enter the line, the part number, and quantity to consign for each part being consigned. Enter at the consigned quantity field adds the part to the grid, and the consigned quantity is added to the new quantity column. The system doesn't validate that the quantity exists in stock until the stock quantities are adjusted. And parts must exist in the part table. Not in file parts can't be added. So enter all the parts manually or click the Import button to import them from a spreadsheet. Imported parts override existing parts, so import the spreadsheet before manually adding parts. The standard Windows Open File dialog pop-up will open to select the file. But parts can only be imported in the draft mode. Once the consigned parts adjust stock, the Import button is grayed out, and consignments can only be deleted in draft mode. When finished adding parts, if the physical parts haven't been pulled from the shelf, click the Save button to save the consignment without affecting the stock quantities. This lets you print the pick list of parts to be consigned and to pull the parts off the shelf. The pick list can't be previewed, but here, let me show you an example of it. And then, when you're ready, click the Update Stock button to commit the consignment. The Are You Sure prompt opens, and if you say yes, the quantity available is decreased in the part table for all parts on the consignment. The new quantity is moved to the consigned quantity, the consignment is saved, and the status changes to open. The current date is entered in the start date field and in the last update field. The insufficient quantity setup on the System General Setup screen determines how to treat new quantity for parts that are added to the consignment with insufficient stock quantities. If it's set to commit available quantity, then the new quantity is added as the consignment quantity. The quantity available on the part table will be decreased to 0. If it's set to commit none, the consigned quantity will be 0 if the full new quantity is not available in stock. Or if it's set to commit requested quantity, then the available quantity will be reduced by the consigned quantity, allowing the stock quantity to go negative. And you're done adding the consignment. Neither an invoice nor a purchase order is automatically created, and the part sales histories are not affected because the parts haven't been sold. Instead of giving you a total of the consignment on the setup screen, click the Preview or Print button to output the consignment setup report for the selected customer. Also, with a customer in focus, clicking the Consignment Reports button opens a new Consignment Report screen with the customer field set the same as the displayed customer. The consignments report can also be run from the Reports menu. And you can right-click on any part to go to the line code entry screen for the line or to go to the main part entry screen for the part. And while we're here, the quantity on consignments displays on the part price entry screen, and if you click the button, you'll get a list of the consignments the part is on. And double-click a row to open the consignment setup screen for that consignment. And that's it for adding consignments. So be sure to watch the next video on editing, closing, and reporting consignments. And if you have questions and don't find the answers in F1 Help, then please contact customer support for assistance. And thanks for joining us.